All right. Excuse me. So just went over Dow Jones. Dow Jones failing on the higher time frames. Yes. Also, we just started a new quarter, so we'll see what happens this quarter. See if this gets rebalanced. Same thing on Dow. Um, the thing is, this is not confirmed yet. So, but yeah, monthly we definitely have a very clear BISI, which already is drawn. And then weekly, we've got some gaps up and down. I'm sure there's a fair value gap drawn out there. You can see that being held nicely on the weekly. Excuse me. Let's get these guys on there too. I didn't realize ES really held on that sell-off. Didn't really realize that. Let's go to the one. Yeah, yes, I mean it did, and then it just completely recovered though. Anyways, so yeah, we did shift even higher here. Now we're holding. I would suspect we're going to go higher. We've got perfectly smooth highs. That's exactly what you want to see to get taken. So very obvious bullish bias on ES. Oops. Yes, very obvious bullish bias. Displacements and failures. Yeah, definitely failing to go lower, at least on the higher time frames. Daily, we did get a shift here, but you can see it dug very deep, and then failed inside of here, blew through this inefficiency, closed above it, and then still failed again. We did get an internal shift, but didn't matter. Same sort of failure swing, but then we did get a gap up, and which got respected, and now we'll see what happens next. But I mean, it's pretty obvious that it's bullish. Let's see if we've got the right stuff drawn out here. For some reason, there's no gap drawn here. But yeah, this was sort of in play a minute ago, but now it doesn't really matter. Let's do this daily BISI. And it sort of already got traded into. Let's equal I. A lot of this stuff can be gone. Lots of old crap. All right, but anyways, yeah, we traded back down. And then the last thing, obviously, we've got these super obvious relative equal highs here. So very obvious draw on liquidity there. Oops. So yeah, very clean there. And nothing above it to really stop it other than this order block, you know? Like, yeah, we have an order block there. We'll see what happens. Maybe we're still going to remain bearish. Who knows? But at least on the daily, it's still not looking really that bearish. And this got stuffed. Yeah, and even displaced back up on the 4 hour. Displaced here, but we'll see. So, cool. Cool. Same story here on NASDAQ. We did get a shift higher. Quarterly is looking like we may shift higher. But yeah, we should have a fair value gap drawn all the way up, basically. So yeah, big gap up there. Weekly, another imbalance being balanced. Nice. That never got retapped though. It would seem like we would tap one more time maybe into there. Doesn't not need to by any means, just a hunch, basically. But yeah, smooth highs, of course. Smooth highs higher, shifting higher on all the higher time frames. Monthly, super strong on the monthly. All we're doing is balancing with smooth highs on the highs. So it's just, you know, we did get a bearish gap there. Didn't give a shit. Took it out. Closed above it. Fail, fail. Bullish shift there, but, or sorry, not a shift, but a displacement at least. And this was a shift here, actually. So this was actually a confirmed market structure shift on the daily. NQ. Yeah, strong bullish cases for those guys. Nothing inside on the daily besides, yeah, that shift up here. Wonder what the weekly looks like. Yeah, nothing. Oh, I'm actually curious to see that. The monthly closed there. What's the daily look like? So if it closed here, that is within this gap. Very, very interesting. Yeah, interesting. I'm just gonna make this a daily BISI. It closed within this gap. So it's respecting it. I mean, it swept below, but it's closing on the weekly time frame inside of it, and then on the monthly. But the monthly's still going. Wait. What's the monthly? Okay. Anyways, not too much to look into that though. Not necessary. All right, on the 4 hour though, we do have a displacement to the downside. That is the one thing here. And obviously smooth lows. So yeah, I mean it is a little bit of a sibby there, and we're back up closing inside of the market structure shift on the higher time frame, but then at the same time we've already colored outside the lines, we got smooth lows. Maybe we still come back one more time into the higher time frame inefficiency here. Maybe we take this swing low out. Maybe we take that one out. I don't know. But higher time frame, I'm still biased on the long side. I mean, higher time frame. So context is key there. All right, Russell. So Russell has a large gap possibly forming. On the monthly, still no shifting. Weekly, we did get a gap up there, but it got rebalanced. Yeah, no shifting here on Russell. Very interesting. Maybe on the daily? No. That's so crazy. Russell also failing. Very interesting that it's sort of failing on all the main high time frames. I guess we'll see on the monthly. It could trade a little lower, maybe, but and then yeah, maybe the quarterly, but that's not confirmed yet. We got 3 months, to fill that in. So, and all it'd have to do is basically go below those. If it came below all this, which is smooth lows, sort of a wedge. So maybe you could go boom. I don't know. I would not be surprised if this rotates up and then rotates down. It's not like it's super bearish though either. It's not saying it's bearish. It's just saying it's giving a hint that it's failing. So there could be a pullback. And the commitment of trader, let's look it up on here. Might as well. Let's make sure these are right. I don't know why commercials are green. It should be red. So yeah, they did initially hedge short, and now they got back long. They got long into this dip, and they haven't really took profits. They did into the initial recovery, maybe you could say, but sort of just flat. But higher time frame, yeah, they're sort of just right in the midline of where they'd want to be. And a while ago, they got super long into this, and then they've been selling. And then they started like some sort of hedging program, maybe. And they did sort of reach somewhat of extremes. So I don't know. Yeah, it's uh, it's not clearly bullish. So I still like the idea of rotating back into the tech, even though the seasonal tendency for Russell is basically grind right now. So grind slightly up, which is what it's been doing. So yeah, not much to say there. On the 4 hour from the high, we did get a rejection. It's pretty clean. We did shift. We did shift lower here on the 4 for sure. So this is a actual shift on the 4. So shorts could be very well in play. When we look at flows though, let's see. Let's just look. Yeah, we can look back a week. Into the highs. Right into this pullback, we did get some bulls, but we got some mega bears on. Why did I not see that? Mega bears here. I was looking for this to sweep, but it doesn't need to. But it makes sense. It makes sense that it's happening this way. So we got some bears into the highs. We melt on low red. So pretty interesting. Dow Jones had pretty bullish flow into the pullback. This pullback. Oh, no. This pullback, which we sort of got. So that's sort of out of play, but we did get some decent bulls just on this small little bounce. So I could still see, yeah, let's just leave it at that. SPY, obviously bear flows, should be bear. We did get a nice pullback. Let's look at the last 3 days. So yeah, we had bullish flow, of course, into the consolidation. And then we had the peak up move. and then yeah, bear flow. There was no real indicator. Maybe on cues. I bet there is probably on cues. Obviously bears. Huh. No, just some bulls. Bulls into the highs, and then it just disappeared. And then low volume bears. Interesting. Maybe go back further. We had some big bulls late to the party flow bulls. I mean, it did peter off. Holdings just outright bearish, so we can't go back on that. I don't know why. It'd be nice if we could. But it's basically the same as using Tide. So we've had lots of selling in the Tide. And then we had that big bull day on ES. I think that's just here on ES on this day, where we sort of wicked down, and then yeah, we had big bull there, so obvious move up, but then we had lots of bears here. Oh, sorry, that's Russell. Whoops. Okay, that's confusing. Don't want to get confused. Yeah, we had big reversal flow on one of these down moves, and then it's been bullish, 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 and then sort of a bleeding off bull, and then we just had a sort of a sell off without really knowing for sure. Yeah. And I remember from the higher time frame, this is a change in character. We were looking for Dow to sort of mark the high, but then we got chopped up trying to look for that, and then now it's actually done it, and it did it with some super nice structure too. Maybe we do get a rotation with ES, or sorry, Russell and the Dow, because that's just what's been working. So we'll see. But for me right now, it's not super clean on what's going on. There's no super obvious change in characters at lows to get long. There's no obvious. I mean, there sort of is on the short side, but it's just not. It's just really tricky because I think what we're going off of is this low here. So yeah, Russell was the one to be the strongest. Didn't even take these lows of the range. You know, right here. So yeah, I think the low volume red flow. Oh yeah, I think that's actually the play. Is a long. Whoops. Let's keep it clean. So yeah, we got Dow to rotate higher. So if Dow can take out this low here, that would be quite interesting for Russell, I would think. So I still like short ideas if Russell takes out highs. I think that's the only thing I can really see on the indices. These guys are just so out of whack lately. It's pretty confusing. But there is a bear case to be made, and there is also a bull case on a higher time frame to be made. I mean, we've seen crypto bouncing here. I still like waiting for the MSTR possible pullback again. Maybe we get a peak above, reject back down. Maybe there's something on the daily. Yeah, there is. There's a bullish inefficiency, double stacked. Daily. Let's make it kind of bright and obvious, I say. Because there's a gap down and then a gap up. And it's sort of right and into an order block. So yeah, lots of stuff happening down here. If we can get back down here, I think I would actually like that for a long. There was an SMT here, but it's gone. Yeah, not much to say. I think I'm just waiting for a rotation again or a long. The only other thing is metals. which we'll have to look at commitment of traders with that too. So weekly failed. We were looking for hopefully the weekly to fail there. Oh, it already sort of did. But okay, anyways, it displaced lower on silver. So yeah, we did displace lower on silver. We're inside of the daily Sibi. I don't like how it's so freaking huge. So we're inside of daily Sib. What the? Why is it so big? Oh, whoops. I meant to grab this. Well, we've sort of ripped through that one. Let's just keep it clean. But yeah, no shift back up yet on the daily. So got to be wary of these silver gap down. Gold looking good. It has completely failed. It did make an SMT. It's not what we expected though. I was thinking the silver one would be the one to hold. So maybe what we're waiting for is copper to shift lower. Copper shifted lower here. It's so far it is totally rejecting that outright. Maybe we're gonna go for this gap. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's some sort of premium bouncing bullshit with gold. Yeah, silver's failed to reach a premium while gold's hit a premium. So there could be a short here. Let's look at the flows. And this bottom was sort of put in the last week. Outright just bull flows back to back to back the last several days. But then Friday, this is silver. Friday had a pullback. What's going on here? Doesn't look like much of a pullback. Friday was flat, but the flows were pretty bearish looking. I mean, we had a ton of bull volume, and then it just went basically negative, even though we're flat. So I would actually say that's sort of a divergently bearish flow on silver, which actually confirms what I just said. Same thing on gold. So gold had a little bit of a bear flow on Thursday, but it moves up anyways. Well, actually, end of the day, green. So it completely flipped green. Boom. Yeah, of course we move up. We open the day green because we're green, which should, but then we close break even and we ended red. So I do like a short idea here. Um, which would be funny because we've already diverged. Interestingly, with the London session. Interesting. So there's already a divergence here in play. We may get a gold short here. And gold was the one to make the lower low. Gold has failed to make a higher high. So I'd actually look for gold to move one more move up higher and then short silver. But gold's the one into a premium. So it's already done that. So it's just any sort of divergence in general I would trust. I would actually think this is already probably in play for a short, possibly. We need to make sure we've got that premium level marked on silver. And silver is the weaker one, at least on the structure. So we'd short above here. Let me mark this out. We stop this. That'd be easy low hanging fruit. Yeah, it's already a very good risk reward. It's about a point in risk. So maybe a short right at the open. The thing is though, yeah, no, this is all happening how I'd want it to. Copper into premium though. Let's check that out. Copper into a premium. And copper held versus both of these guys. But it already hit a premium. And then now these guys are hitting a premium. And there's like a support resistance liquidity here on silver. There's just so many big fair value gaps here. We need to just shut these down. Just way too bright. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Don't want to get too messy. So it's already sort of happened the way we'd want it. Does silver need to hit a premium though? Well, we change in character here with copper. So for me to be super confident that this is it, we would need copper to basically shoot up. But do we really need it? These are the guys to rotate lower. Gold really made the rotation lower. And I mean, it would make sense too to manufacture highs here. There's highs here. And yeah, we are into a fair value gap on the daily. And it basically starts all the way here. Yeah, we're like perfectly holding the lower quadrant. Let's look at commitment of traders for gold and silver. Gold and silver. I mean, we are in a bullish seasonal tendency too, which is why I'm watching these guys. Yeah, it just looks bullish. Bullish commitment of traders on silver. Bullish. Yeah, it's still bullish. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I do like longs, but it's just we need to really clean up what's really going on. On the 4-hour charts, we have shifted higher. It's confirmed on gold. On silver, we barely got one, and it already respected it and moved up. So structurally, could make sense. If it hits a premium though, then that's just the tricky part, is it changing character here. So it might be ready to go. Let's look at the weekend markets. Markets open in an hour and 40 minutes. Weekend spot silver. It's up 0.5%, which is basically just there. Okay. All right. All right. So yeah, that's basically it, I think. That's all I'm really looking for. We may still get some move back in oil, one day. But the way the highs came in were just so confusing. Oh, there we go. I mean, this is actually where I would want it. I would want it to bounce here, right into this wick, right into the different, oops, let's get a box. Right into the mean threshold of these would be pretty clean. I mean, it's holding the upper quadrant pretty nicely. Yeah. I mean, this already kind of came down into it, but who really cares? And we would want it to SMT in a way that makes sense, which it already has. So, yeah, we could be, I don't know, there could be a long still. I don't really know. This gold oil has been really tough for me. Don't want to get caught up in the BS. But anyways, on the weekly chart on crypto, nothing daily. On the daily, I love how Ethereum has shifted. That is awesome. Shifting higher for Ethereum. It's probably going to take these highs out. Maybe manufacture them first. We'll see. XRP barely got a shift, and then it definitely got a shift there. Gold or Bitcoin has not shifted. I mean, got a little one there. But yeah, we really want to see this shift on the weekly, so that's gonna take a few months, but or we'll see how long it takes, whatever. But cool. So, oops. Let's look at yeah, weekend gold hasn't moved. It would be interesting to see gold actually hold this too. If it does, that'd be pretty clean because then it means this divergence was the real change in character. We got this rotation here on copper. And so, yeah, we want to see copper just take this. Maybe just this. We'll see. I'm just going to set an alert there for fun. Just to see. But yeah, maybe a short here on metals. And, yeah. Possible longs on Russell lows, or aka the Dow low, which would be a long on everyone. We got a long on everyone, man. All right, that's basically it, I think. We already know the seasonals. We looked at the key COT charts. We looked at metals. We looked at indices. Those are the only ones I really care about. So, yeah, that's the plan. Adios.